Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my monthly update for Pan and Every palette. This is a project I've been doing forever, like 3 years. I've been working on this project and my goal is to eventually have one pan showing in every palette I own. It's gonna be a while. We're gonna be here for a long time. Anyways, this project was originally spearheaded by Lady Pans-A-Lot over on Instagram, so I will have her Instagram account linked down below, along with a bunch of us that have been doing this for a long time. I don't know if everybody's still doing it. I'm guessing some people have stopped. I know Lady Pans-A-Lot has hit a pan in every one of her palettes, so she's done. But I think there are others that might have achieved that goal as well. So I was for a long time working on 4 palettes at a time, and then for the last few months I went down to just 3 palettes so that I could focus in on what I was working on a little bit better. And good news, my decision paid off. I have finally hit pan in my Pat McGrath Lovey and Rose palette. This palette has been in this project since the very start. And I just wasn't working on it. It ended up not being that much more work to hit pan on this than any other shadow, but for one reason or another, I just wasn't reaching for it. And I finally made the commitment to get going on this for the month of January, and I hit pan. It took 63 uses to hit pan on this palette, which is pretty on par for like a ColourPop eyeshadow. It took 63 for one ColourPop eyeshadow, 64 for another. So this is pretty comparable to how many uses it takes me to hit pan. I just wasn't reaching for it. In this last month alone, I used this palette 16 times, which is way more uses than I've given this palette any other month. Most months it was like, oh, I used it one time, I used it twice. You know, it just was going really slow. So I'm really happy to finally have pan on this. I don't want to say I'm ready to put it away. It's a great palette. It's an expensive palette. I wish I was still using it. I wish I could work on other shadows in this palette that haven't received nearly as much love. But for the sake of keeping this project going, I'm excited to be rolling this out and rolling something new in to take its place. The other 2 palettes that are in this project did not get a ton of love. I used my Bare Minerals translucent setting powders 1 time each in the past month. It's these baked powders. This one's matte, this one's glow. I swirl them both together. For some reason, I'm making more progress on the matte one than the glow one, but yeah, I only used this 1 time in the past month. I'm also working on a pressed powder from Clinique in my Beauty A to Z, and I'm working on a loose powder from Makeup Forever in my Let's Get Loose project. So usually I'm reaching for one of those 3 every day, and this one's been getting the short stick. There's part of me that would just kind of like to focus in on that Clinique one and finish it off, so then I'm only working on 2. But then there's another part of me that's really nervous that my Let's Get Loose update is coming up and I'm not gonna have any progress. So that's why I've been focusing on those 2 more instead of this one, which I feel like will take a bit longer to actually hit pan on. That's my justification, at least. The other palette in this project is my Too Faced Life's a Festival palette. I'm trying to hit pan on this shade up here called Fun in the Sun, and I used this 3 times in the past month. I'm wearing it today as an inner corner highlight and kind of on the like inner third of this eye look. I've done that a few times this month. Here it is right here. I definitely have a dip going. I have no clue how close I am to hitting pan. I feel like Too Faced pans are usually pretty deep, but I'm pleased with how well this is going. It feels like this pan is going quicker than some other pans. I also think that I could hit pan on this by next month if I decide to focus in on this palette. I should do that. Okay, it is time to roll in a new palette to replace the one I've hit pan on, and I have decided that I will finally bring back a 4th palette so that I am working on 4 palettes at a time in this project. It's a little bit scary to do that because I feel like I'm finally making some progress on some of my eyeshadows and I don't want to take away from that, but I also can't help myself because I love working on as many eyeshadows as possible. So the first palette I'm bringing in is, of course, my Jouer Skinny Dip. I had this in my 6 by Santa project last year, and I absolutely fell in love with this palette, and I knew I would be bringing it back into this project eventually. It was just a matter of when, and today's the day. I think it goes without saying that my 2 favorite eyeshadows in this palette are this goldeny one called Skinny Dip and this taupey one called Magic Hour. Those 2 are my faves, but I also like this one, this bronzy golden one called Tan Lines, very, very much. I'm guessing it's going to be one of these 3 that I try to hit pan on. This Midnight Swim, this deepest one, is pretty awesome to smoke out the lower lash line. The silver is beautiful as well. The only one I'm not in love with is the pink one, which is called Bikini. Not because I don't like pink. I love pink very much. It's just something about this formula that's not as creamy as the rest of them. So I'm not crazy about this Bikini shade. It's also not quite as pigmented. It's just kind of a glittery sheer eyeshadow, whereas these other shades all have some color to them and they are kind of a standalone eyeshadow. Like I could just pick any one of those, put them all over my lid and be done. I feel like I have to use this as a topper more than a standalone eyeshadow. So I'm not as big of a fan of this pink one as I am of the other ones, but I'm not sure which shade I'm gonna pick to hit pan on. There's only 6 though, and it's probably not gonna be that one. So one of the remaining 5 shadows is going to be the one I decide to hit pan on, but I'm just looking forward to playing around with this over the next month and seeing where I go with different looks that I can create with all of the eyeshadows I'm currently project panning. And the 4th palette I have decided to roll in to this project is going to be this Too Faced palette. This is the Too Faced Razzle Dazzle Berry eyeshadow palette. I've had this forever. I've never used it. Hazel has swatched it quite a few times. She's a big fan of this palette, but I have never ever used this eyeshadow palette even once, and that is a shame. A shame. These are my kind of colors, and with February right around the corner, I thought this might be something I'd want to reach for. This 3rd shade right here is like a shimmery, creamy pink, and it's one of those that I kind of feel like will change in consistency if I let it sit here untouched forever. So I'm thinking that's gonna be the shade that I try to hit pan on. Still looks really beautiful. I really sheared it out right there. That was not a very heavy swatch. But yeah, just, oh, what a gorgeous shade, especially for February. There you go. I'm pretty sure that's the one I'm going to be focusing in on. And I'm really looking forward to it. So this is going to be the 4th palette I'm rolling into this project. So thanks to this project, I now have 9 palettes with pan on them that I did not have before, which is super exciting. I love that. Things are going in the right direction. That also means I worked on 15 palettes in this project, and that's really great. I love that I'm getting use out of my collection in ways that I probably would not otherwise. Panning a palette is super fun. I love to do pan that palette. But when I only do pan that palette, it can really restrict my ability to enjoy and use other shadows within my collection. And this project is just one more opportunity for me to use a slightly larger amount of eyeshadows than just one palette. And I love the variety that that offers. I also love seeing what kind of interesting creations or eye looks I can make when I combine one shadow from one palette with another palette, and I love that challenge as well. I like it. I think it's really fun. So yeah. All right, you guys, that is going to be it for this update. I'm so excited to have hit another pan in this project. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.